I frequently get asked, Richard, what foods do you feed to your guppies? And in this video, I want to share with you the 5 foods I feed to my guppies most often. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Richard and I'm a fish and shrimp keeper based in the UK. I have to admit, I'm a self-confessed fish food-aholic. I genuinely believe variety is the key to success, and over the years I have tried pretty much every food on the market. But these days I've managed to bring myself down to 5 key foods that I feed to my guppies on a regular basis. And the first of these is a flake food. Now, I've been in the hobby since the mid-1990s, and when I started, Tetramin flake food was one of the leaders on the market, and I'll be honest, I fed it to my fish pretty much every day for over 30 years. I find the fish accept it well, the fish readily eat it, it doesn't disintegrate the minute it hits the water, and it doesn't cloud your water. It really does seem to be a great food. It's the backbone of my guppy feeding regime. I feed flake food every single day. I take the flake food and I grind it up into a fine powder and I feed that to my guppy fry. I feed it to pretty much every fish and shrimp I have in my aquariums. Now, it doesn't have to be Tetramin flake that you use, but I do recommend you find a good quality flake food that's available in your area and feed that. Make that the staple, make that the backbone of your feeding regime, and everything else you feed should be an add-on and as well as. Now, the good thing is flake food does tend to be a good mix of vitamins and minerals and nutrients. It is designed to be a one food for all, but I find the more foods we feed our fish, the more variety we give our guppies, the bigger, the healthier, the more colourful, the more babies they produce. So I would encourage every guppy keeper to keep a good quality flake food in their store cupboard and use that as the backbone of their feeding regime. Now, the second food I really enjoy feeding to my guppies is a pellet food. And on this occasion, it happens to be Tetra Prima. I have no affiliation with Tetra. I just have a long relationship of using their products. I find the great thing about Tetra Prima granules is they're small enough that the guppies can just pick them off. They mainly sink, but they sink fairly slowly, allowing the guppies in mid-water to peck at them. And they're also readily accepted by the shrimp in your tank, the snails in your tank, the plecos in your tank will happily eat them. Whatever else you keep with your guppies will typically also eat a pellet food or a granule food. As with the flakes, granules and pellets do tend to be designed as a complete diet, but I wouldn't only ever feed a pellet, only ever feed a granule. But when used along with a flake food, you do then start to build up almost a complete diet, a complete balance of vitamins and minerals and everything your guppies will need to grow big and strong and colourful. As I will say constantly throughout this video, variety of foods is key. Now, the third food that I love to feed to my guppies, and I also feed it to my shrimp and my plecos, and that's rapashi gel food. In my experience, rapashi gel food is seriously underrated. Yes, it can be relatively expensive to buy, but you buy it as a powder, you add boiling water to a small quantity, and you mix up as much as you need. It then forms a solid lump of food that you cut into cubes or whatever size pieces you need, and you feed them to your tanks. Now, the great thing is, not only does it keep for a week or so in the fridge, or several weeks, if not months in the freezer, when you drop it into your fish tanks, when you feed it to your guppies, it lasts for many, many hours in the water. It holds up well for 24 or even 48 hours, meaning that your guppies can come along and peck at it, get some food, go off, swim around. A few minutes later, half an hour later, come back, peck at it again. They literally have access to the food day and night. Now, this is especially good if you've got guppies that are new to you and they're perhaps a little underweight, or you're trying to build up your females for breeding, or you have fry and you really want those fry to grow fast and to grow strong and colourful. Adding rapashi gel food allows them to have access to food pretty much 24 hours a day. Rapashi gel food comes in many different blends, different flavours if you want. I frequently use the community blend. That goes for just about everybody. At the moment, I have the Soylent Green, which is particularly high in algae and such likes, which is great for your plecos, great for your shrimp, great for your fish that want to be eating vegetation and algae. But of course, guppies will eat pretty much anything we give them. So it doesn't matter which blend you use, I cannot recommend rapashi gel food enough. So those 3 foods, those 3 dry food, prepared foods, create a great base to be feeding your guppy fish. But then to take things to the next level, I really love to feed frozen foods to my guppies. Now, I feed my guppies frozen bloodworm, frozen daphnia, frozen brine shrimp, frozen tubifex worms. It doesn't matter what you feed them, feeding them frozen foods brings in loads of protein, new different minerals and vitamins that they don't get from the dried food. If you feed them brine shrimp or daphnia, both of those foods act as a laxative. They help flush your fishery, they help keep them regular and prevent them from becoming constipated. If you feed frozen bloodworms, all of that protein is great for your females who have got developing fry in their bodies. I feed frozen foods to my guppies at least once a day. Typically in the afternoon when I'm feeding my guppies, I'll take a cube of frozen bloodworm or frozen daphnia, whatever it might be, and I put a small quantity in each tank. They are so quick to eat it. Guppies love eating frozen foods. They love eating anything that was alive and has been frozen. Mosquito larvae is another great frozen food you can feed to your guppies. As I've said over and over again, it's all about the variety. Variety is key. For big, healthy, colourful, strong guppies, to grow a large guppy colony, you need variety. You need a flake food, a pellet food, some frozen food or live food. Each of those frozen foods, daphnia, bloodworm, brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, tubifex worms, they're all available to feed as live foods as well. I personally just find that in frozen form, it's so much more convenient to feed to my guppies. Now, the fifth food on my list ties back into food number 4, but it's very specific. I love to feed my guppies live microworms. Now, microworms are one of the easiest live foods to culture. You literally get yourself a small starter from another hobby, so you can buy them online. You keep them in a tub with some mashed potato or some porridge oats, whatever it might be. And every day you can harvest live microworms to feed to your guppies. Now, microworms, as the name suggests, are tiny, but the adults will still relish them. You literally, I take a paintbrush, I run it around the edge of my tub, I swish the brush around in the tank and a small cloud of microworms comes off and the guppies are straight in there. But microworms are also fabulous when you're feeding baby guppies. If you've got guppy fry, particularly young guppy fry, and you want to find a food that they will eat easily, but perhaps isn't as much as a hassle as creating live baby brine, then live microworms might be the answer for you. Now, you wouldn't want to feed exclusively microworms. They don't contain all of the vitamins and minerals our baby guppies need to grow. But let me assure you, when you put a small cloud of microworms into your guppy tank, whether it's babies or adults, they will go bananas for them. They really can't get enough of them. Literally, they'll be in that cloud of microworms, absolutely chowing down. As mentioned, I frequently get asked about what I'm feeding my guppies, and I also get asked, why are my guppies gasping at the surface? And to find the answer to that question, watch this video next. Thanks for watching.